Hello, folks. It's me again. Last time. This is it. No more. Chapter 12. Yay! Okay. Little over enthusiastic there. Sorry, the coffee kicked in. As you can see behind my shoulder, I have, emergency coffee care just in case I need it to get through the day. All right, so let's talk about Chapter 12. This is the future of terrorism. And this is the area that I work in. What could happen in the future? What should we be worried about? So this is, they have a term, they're called futurist. Funny, but people who work in this area are trying to figure out what's going to happen as the world changes, as the world develops, as technology changes. So some of these things are self-evident, some of them might surprise you. All right, old terrorism had leftists, ethno-nationalists, basically low casualty. I know that sounds bad if somebody loses somebody, but the number of people in the typical terrorist attack was really a handful. You had leftist motives for people. You had identifiable organizations like the IRA. You had symbolic targets, yeah. You had hierarchical organizations, people trying to manipulate the media, and full-time terrorists or cadres, a group of terrorists. The thing is that this model still exists, but new ways of seeing terrorism have also evolved. So they kind of go parallel. The new waves are over here and the old waves are there, but they still, right now, both exist. So the new threats are things like state sponsorship, dissident terrorism, religious terrorism, ideological terrorism, or political. You see these happening in the Middle East, Palestine, Israel, Latin America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and the United States. These new threats are emerging, and they're using different tactics and different ways to organize themselves. And Al-Qaeda is really the model for this. It was an organization in one place, but as it was successful in its attacks on America, it like franchised, like 7-Elevens, and all over the world, these groups that are ideologically the same, but different languages, different cultures, different ways of doing things. They multiply, kind of like bunny rabbits. In the USA, we see things like high-tech attacks, information attacks. You have been subject to these. People have tried to steal data from places like CSUN, but also UCLA, the federal government, Macy's, all kinds of places where getting your data can be important for lots of reasons, not the least of which is to fund, to actually, let's say, take some money out of your credit card to fund terrorism. There are issue-specific attacks, as you know. That's my area, the energy area, specifically nuclear radiological. There are the possibility of WMD, nuclear radiological, chemical, biological weapons. These have been tried in the US. They've not been successful, but they have been tried. There are things, kind of exotic technologies, pulse technologies. You don't need to go into all the details, but just understand this. There's a possibility to send out a pulse, an electronic pulse, that could wipe out everybody's electronics. You wouldn't be able to use your phone. You wouldn't be able to use a television, a computer. It would wipe them out. That's what pulse technology could be. Things like plastic weapons, a gun made out of plastic. This is being thought of, and this is actually happens so that people could get on a plane, for example, with a gun. Liquid metal embrittlement, the idea of, let's say, an airplane, the outside shell of it was treated and it broke apart during flight, and people then, you didn't have to blow them up, they literally were sucked out of the airplane. The feasibility of some of these weapons are not there yet, but people are thinking about them. People are exploring those ideas. They being the terrorists, typically look for soft targets. I would never attack a police station. Why? They got guns. They shoot you. But a school, a day school, or a school like CSUN, that's a soft target. You could walk right onto this campus and do bad things. But does it have the symbolic value? Is it, does it mean the same thing as an attack on, let's say, the Pentagon? No, it doesn't, unless it's a specific issue. So there's the violent left and the violent right. This is still going to exist. This is that overlap that I was talking about. But we're in for continued, for your lifetime. There will be people doing these things. And specifically, I leave another dot there because I don't know what the future will bring. I do know that these types of attack, especially cyber warfare, they're part of our life. That's not going away. And whether it's criminals trying to get your data to steal your money, or another group trying to raise money using your data, there's lots of ways that it can happen, and you might be involved. All right, I hit the wrong button, of course. The future does not hold a lot of promise that it's going to get better. We as a society need to evolve to have what is called resiliency. This is my company, Exclusive Use Research. This is what I do. And building resiliency in our communities, meaning that we have people that understand that police and fire are the first responders, and that you need to contact them if you see something going wrong. Those kinds of things build this sense of resiliency. So too does redundancy in, let's say, electrical power, different ways of moving people on the freeways. After the Northridge earthquake, some freeways collapsed in Los Angeles, and in a very short time, few months, they rebuilt those bridges. But what happened for those 4 or 5 months when the freeways were closed? How do you live? Do you change people's times to come to Cal State Northridge, where we get 20,000 people coming any given day? There's 40,000 students here, 20,000 people coming for classes, plus the professors, plus the staff. Now we're talking maybe 30,000 people a day have to come here. What could we do? Could we change so that we give night classes so that it doesn't conflict with businesses? We could do lots of things. When we have, and I think it's 10 years or 9 years away, when we have the Olympics here, you're going to see policies that are about this resiliency. They won't say that term, but it's really to make the community more viable. And you will see lots and lots of changes because of security, surprising changes. So when you do, don't think of it as bad, think of it as protecting you, and then curse the traffic gods, because things won't be so good. The last time the Olympics were here, and most of you wouldn't have been born then, it was really actually better traffic than anything else. Take care, folks. I've enjoyed giving you this class information, sharing some of my experiences. Hopefully we can, you can enjoy this class, or you have enjoyed this class, and good luck on your final paper.